my nerves got the better of me, and I messed up the line a couple times and things. And obviously everyone was really, really kind to me. The four women, like Mary Steenburgen, said to me, "Oh, I think that was my fault. I stepped over your line," which wasn't true. It was absolutely my fault. But and then I obviously felt terrible about it because I hate making mistakes, and I felt it was shocking.
How's it going?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Are you in the UK currently, or where in the world are you?
I'm in London.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in London. It's a very nice sunny day in London, which makes a change. So been enjoying that.
Well, that's good. That's a rarity, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's been raining day, and it's been kind of miserable recently. It's a very bad spring so far. So
well, it's a good sign that the sun's out. It means good things are happening for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm guessing you've never been?
I have actually. I have been to Chicago,
Oh,
but
okay.
I was really tiny. I think maybe about 6 or so. And we were there during winter, so it was freezing.
Oh, wow. You think the worst time of the year.
Yeah, I remember just wearing like 2 pairs of tights and like multiple pairs of socks and 2 hats. That's what I remember.
Come back in the summer or spring or even fall, so we have a better experience and one you can remember. Are you gonna be coming out to the US for the premiere or anything like that, or for the run of the film before the release?
Yeah, so the premiere is on Monday the 8th. And I will be coming to New York a couple of days before. I'm flying on Saturday, and then from there I'm going to LA for a week.
Wow, that'll be exciting. That's a fun little trip for you coming up.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
That's awesome. I saw the film last night. It was like a critic screening, and there was like a live audience too, with like actual people who won tickets, I think, or something.
Oh, really?
To see it. Everyone was just cracking up. Like, it was such a good atmosphere at the theater. It was a packed house, and everyone was loving the film. So that's a good sign.
Good. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was super funny. I saw the first one too. I actually thought this one was better than the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first one was good too. It was funny, but this one was just like, I think the element of like venturing out, going on a trip made it that much more, fun.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to be very excited to see it on Monday. So I'm pleased that you enjoyed it.
Spoiler with you, you definitely know how to pour wine and champagne, and definitely know how to pick out a dress. So
yeah, yeah, my skills shining through that.
Well, it's a central part. I mean, it's the dress, that we're getting ready here, and know what to get and what to do at the right time. So
yeah, I have to say it was my first time pouring champagne into those flute glasses, so it was unusual having to do it for these for such incredible actresses, making sure I didn't spill it.
You did a great job. You nailed it. So just to let you know, not a drop on the floor. So all good. I mean, you had a lot of responsibility there too with the champagne. You had the dress, you had to get it with no stains or any issues to it. So you had a lot on your plate there.
Oh, good. I did my assisting job well.
Very well. Where'd you guys shoot that scene? That's looked like such a cool location too.
Yeah, it was I think the villa, it's in a villa and it's just outside Rome, and I think it's called Villa Parisi. It's probably a terrible pronunciation, but that's how it looks. And it's actually one of these places that's been used in quite a few adverts and other films. I actually noticed after shooting there, I watched a film on Netflix, I think, called Love, Wedding, Repeat. And that whole film is shot in exactly the same place.
Oh,
and
wow.
I didn't realize and I was watching it and I was like, wait, I've been there. That's where I shot.
That's amazing. That must be the location. It must be like a prime location there too for they're shooting all these things there.
I mean, it's so beautiful. I don't think I've ever been anywhere as beautiful, and then to shoot in there, it's great. My camera roll is just full of pictures of the building.
What a cool trip. Was that your first time out there in Italy or no?
I had actually been to Italy. I've been to Venice and to Rome. But again, I was a lot younger, maybe like 12 or something. So it's been a while. I had less agency over my actions when I was that age. So I did a lot more exploring this time.
How long did it take to shoot that whole scene, the whole wedding dress picking? I imagine it might have been a couple of days there, huh?
It was 2 days shooting, and I think it was a lot to shoot in 2 days. So 2 days almost feels like quite a long time for one scene, but given how much went on in that scene, it was quite packed, and it was boiling hot as well.
Oh, was it?
It was unbelievably hot. It was about, I think, I don't know in Fahrenheit, but it was about 40 degrees in degrees Celsius.
That is scorching heat.
It was, and they had these fans sort of coming in, but obviously when you're shooting, you can't have them on. And honestly, I was just so impressed by Jane Fonda. I mean, it was incredible. She was changing constantly in and out of these heavy wedding dresses, and she did not complain once. She didn't say anything about it. She just got on with it. I mean, I didn't even have to change or anything, and I was just there thinking, God, I must be like sweating so much. She didn't even break a sweat. I swear, it was remarkable. Wow. I could have just sat watching her all day.
What a pro. Yeah. That's unbelievable. Yeah, because it's like that scene has so many dress changes too. That's like that one of those scenes that are just like over and over. I'm like, yeah, it must have taken a while. But to now know the behind the scenes that it was like scorching hot, that just adds more layer of impressive to it. And heck of a job by the makeup artist to keeping you guys looking like there's no sweat or anything too. So whoever's doing the touch-ups for that and making sure, outstanding job too.
I know. I know. I kept saying that to them. I was like, I must look awful. I must have bright red face. I'm sweating. And they're like, no. And they obviously, I guess they maybe know how to work in those heat conditions because they're Italian makeup artists. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was incredible because I think everyone around us was sort of sweating, and we managed to keep us looking pristine. So
definitely, didn't notice a thing. And how about your hairdo? Was that, whose call was that? Now it's flowing, it's all over. I'm like, I didn't know you had so much hair, too.
Yeah, it's interesting because in real life, I never tie my hair up that sleek. And it was just I went in for a couple days of hair and makeup and dress fittings and things, and they were the hairstylist decided that he wanted that look for me. I think they knew that I was a big fan of Audrey Hepburn, and I think that he was wanting to sort of go for that sort of slightly Audrey Hepburn sort of pulled back like high bun look. So I think he sort of did it to sort of tie that in, sort of slightly 60s style dress.
I noticed that. It was like, I was looking at, I'm like, you know what? You got a really timeless look going on in the film. It could have put you in any era and it would have worked probably.
Yeah. And it was interesting as well because we tried on maybe about 10 different outfits for it. And I obviously, didn't get the final say over it, but it was very collaborative. Stefano, the costume designer, he really did ask me what I liked and for my input on things. Particularly, I think, because we had met just before because he had heard that I made my own clothes and I was very into fashion. And so once he heard that, he wanted to meet me and have tea with me. So we talked a lot about these different things. I think, again, partially he was sort of trying to tie it in with the kind of era that I enjoy.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how the casting happened, but I'm guessing that must have helped that you had some experience there with fashion and clothes, right? Did you mention that to them early on, or whatnot?
Well, this is actually partially, I think, how I got the role to begin with, which was that this part, amazingly, was actually written with me in mind. So Erin Sims and Bill Holderman,
Uh-huh.
they who wrote it together. I had met them a few years ago, and they followed me. Erin follows me on Instagram, and I post a lot about my work, obviously acting, short films and stuff I've made, but as well, I also post a lot about fashion and clothes that I've made and my interest in those areas. So I think when they were writing the film, I obviously came into their mind when they were writing that scene, and so they asked me to be that part.
So cool. Wow, what a
Yeah,
way.
I know.
You were
I
meant
know.
for it, literally.
I know. I felt very, very lucky. When they were writing it, they named the character Grace. So when they sent it to me and said, "Oh, we'd love you to play this," I saw it and I was like, "Oh, they called her Grace." So yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's a very unusual circumstance to be in so early on in my career, but yeah, I guess interesting.
Wow, I'll be talking to him later today, so
Oh,
I'll
that's
mention that.
great. He's
That's
so
so
lovely.
Yeah, they're cool. I've met him before, and actually on the first one when they were doing it, so they came through Chicago, got to meet him in person. Very cool, chill people. Was it fun working with them? They seem like they would be a blast to just work with, in general. Based on what I know from meeting them.
No, absolutely. Really great, very, both of them, like, very hands-on on set. There was right at the beginning of shooting, I was quite anxious. I sort of, the first thing we shot was me walking up to the four women as they walk in the room, and it
What an
I
entrance, huh? It's your first
yeah,
scene. Go,
yeah. And
action.
that exactly. And I managed to, basically, my nerves got the better of me, and I messed up the line a couple times and things, and obviously everyone was really, really kind to me. The four women, like Mary Steenburgen, said to me, "Oh, I think that was my fault, I stepped over your line," which wasn't true. It was absolutely my fault. But and then I obviously felt terrible about it because I hate making mistakes, and I felt it was shocking. And I said to Bill afterwards, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I messed that up the first time." And he said, "Grace, like, it's totally understandable. If I had to go out there and talk to these iconic women, like the first scene, like my first speaking role in a feature film," he's like, I would be the same." And he just was so kind and warm, and just made me feel totally comfortable and okay about it. And that's all you can really want, I think.
Yeah, that's such a cool thing. What a reassuring thing. That makes you feel so much more confident and relaxed after hearing that, probably from Bill. You got to have a way of people. And you see, that's what I mean. Good directors
Yeah.
and know how to deal with people and the right things to say at the right time, for sure.
Exactly. And they obviously, all the women, absolutely, like, love him. He's just a great person to be around, I think, at any time. So he's a wonderful director. I felt very lucky.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a great story. I love that. Uh, well, so you mentioned how'd you get into the fashion aspect on your own too? Was this something just like a hobby you always had since you were younger, or that? What are two different interesting things you have in your life? You do the acting thing and you actually have that.
Yeah, I mean, I basically have been sewing for as long as I can remember. My grandma taught me when I was very, very little. I used to make, I think, little bags for everybody I knew. And then it sort of gradually basically developed into me making my own clothes and sewing, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. I like being able to make things that I wouldn't be able to buy particularly. So I use when I'm not sort of designing myself, I use basically only vintage sewing patterns, like from the 1950s, particularly 1960s. So a lot of my clothes are vintage inspired.
Wow. Do you, okay, I have a couple questions off of this too. Do you take requests to make it for like friends and family or clients? Like, who reaches out to, like, did he make elaborate like like requests to you? I'm curious, like, what sort of things do you get to do?
I mean, I have made a few things for family and friends. I recently made my first ever baby outfit for my goddaughter, which I thought was going to be easier because it's so much smaller, but it just means you have to do the same things, but in a more detailed way, which turned out to be more difficult. But I don't sell anything I make. I've done some costumes for short films before. When I was younger, I sort of thought I might have wanted to be a costume designer for a while when I was little. And so I sort of have played around with that a bit, as well as, I think I'm just one of these people that struggles deciding on one thing to do, so I like to try and do as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, I haven't ever sort of made anything to sell, but maybe I should.
Yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're already making baby stuff. You're on your way. I feel like if you continue this, you're like, when you were young, you're still young. Okay. So it's like we're as obvious as a child, you're not going to be creating elaborate things, but you are multi-talented in that case. That's really cool to have that sort of kind of skill set to do it. Not many people have that drive and even the skill set to do something like that. So that's definitely something you should keep on doing.
Well, I think it's just practice, to be honest.
Probably. Takes practice to do. Yeah. Everything takes practice, you know, so but at least you're driven to do it. That's the most important part.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, you know, it sort of makes me feel relaxed, so nice.
That's a good way. Yeah, I mean, you can find productive ways to. I was just going to ask you, like, what are some of your hobbies and interests? I mean, that's definitely two of them here, acting and that. Do you have any other ones that I should know about, or things you really like to do, or kind of, you know, clear your mind with and do?
I love photography. I think that at any one time I have, you know, a couple cameras on me. I got a camcorder for Christmas, which I've been asking for. So I'm sort of making my home videos. I've got my analog film camera, obviously my phone, and I mean, I think I've got this sort of camera obsession, and you know, I take pictures all the time. Drawing is one. I've got more into digital drawing, like drawing on my iPad recently. I've always been interested in animation. Like when I was at school, I did my first stop motion animation film, and I made a puppet to I made the stop motion puppet from scratch. And then more recently, I've done more kind of hand drawn animation. I mean, every time I do animation, I think, why am I doing this? Because it's the longest process in the world. But there's obviously something about it that draws me to it. So yeah, as recently, I started this project a little while ago, but because it's so time consuming, I had to put it on pause for a bit, and I'm sort of starting up with it again now, which is an animation short film which I'm making, and it's sort of it's combining traditional like hand drawn rotoscoping, which I don't know if you know what that is, but I don't know if you've ever seen those things from Disney back in the like sort of 1950s, where they had live actors performing, and then they would draw it's not like Cinderella, or and they would
I know
draw
what you mean.
basically images from it. Well, it's basically that, but in the modern age. So I'm doing it on my iPad, and I'm sort of filming myself doing these things, and then I'll turn them into drawings. So it becomes animation. And I'm doing that. I'm combining that with artificial intelligence to basically fill in the gaps, because basically if I drew every single frame of anything, it would take me, for Disney, for instance, when they used to do that, they used to have teams and teams and teams of people. And even when they did that, I read something recently that when they made the first fully animated feature film Snow White, after they finished, the whole team basically ended up having to go to hospital because of the stress that it caused them and the long hours that they'd been doing. So me doing this by myself, I was trying to avoid that. And my boyfriend is a machine learning researcher, so he's does AI. That's what he does for a living. And we had just been talking about these things, and he was telling me about generative art, which has become very, very prominent recently. I think I basically started seeing AI art everywhere, but when we started this, it was a bit less prominent. And this is basically what we are trying to do and what he was doing. So obviously I couldn't do this without him, because I do not have the skill set to do all the AI work.
You have a skill set to do anything. Okay, what I'm hearing is insane.
I basically what he does that helps me combine with my drawing is that I can do maybe 30% of the drawing of the frames rather than the full 100%. So the AI can sort of fill in the gaps to make the animation more fluid, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, that was very long-winded, sorry.
I thought you were gonna say, oh yeah, like going on walks or something. Okay, it's like crazy genius, okay, of creating everything. This is wild. Okay, my head's blown away right now with what I heard. That is amazing for you to just like try these things and attempt them and create that. Wow. You seem like you would be like in your 60s and lived a lifetime of things to know all these things. That's really impressive and super cool at the same time that you get to try and do all these wild kind of elaborate things.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's a very new, it is. I mean, I haven't seen, when we started doing it, it's basically creating a new form of animation, combining those two things together. Obviously I took a break from it, so I'm not quite sure what's progressed since then, but now I'm starting it up again. I was talking to Steenburgen, my boyfriend, the other day about it, and he said there are some new things, like new coding things and things that he can implement that he's more aware of now than he was like last year. And I think that industry, I think,
it's
just
evolving quickly for sure.
Yeah. I feel lucky that that he wants to do it with me, so yeah.
Well, you found the right person in that case for you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Next time I talk about you, it might not be about a role. It might be something you invented or some kind of animation film coming out. I don't know what to expect from you now going forward. You are multi-talented and very curious individual. So that's very cool to have this sort of curiosity about creating things.
Thank you.
Definitely an artist in its every form and sense. So how cool. I'm glad I asked these things, and found out a ton about you.
Well, yeah, thank you for asking and being interested.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that is super cool. Look at that, Grace. Good things are happening. The sun's shining and you have a lot going on in your life. No doubt about it, including a really cool film. I mean, who can say that they literally had their first scene ever with 4 Hollywood icons. I mean, no one can take that away from you.
I know. I know. I was thinking about future me, thinking about that. And it is, it's just insane. I mean, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So
yeah, your kids will have a lot to brag about, in the future. So
no, I
unbelievable.
feel very lucky. I feel very lucky.
Well, you know what? Luck happens, but also you create your luck by doing what you do, right? You look at how you got this role. You were being just passionate and creative about what you like, and you caught Aaron's attention, and then bam, one thing leads to another. So I gotta say, just keep on being you and keep doing you, and good things will keep on happening. It seems like you have a lot of your life to give, out there to the world, and so keep on doing that.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. I hope so. I hope so.
I have no doubt about it, actually. This was so much fun, Grace. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. And I enjoyed your scene. I thought it was very well done by you. You nailed it completely. Who would have known there was any sort of mistake on set, that needed Bill to talk to you, but it all came out looking great, and the film's a lot of fun too. So you should be proud of it.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. I really
absolutely
enjoyed
love to reconnect down the road, see what you're inventing and creating down the road.
Yeah. Yes, let's see.
And enjoy your trip to the US. It's going to be a fun one.
Thank you. I will.
Make sure to try some New York pizza. Have them get you some New York pizza when you're in New York. So
yeah, I thought of that already. I'm excited.
Smart girl. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Grace. Take care. And like I said, keep on riding the wave.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.